I want to tell you something that took me years to admit. I am a licensed therapist and I have lived inside trauma for over 40 years. And I have spent the last 5 years studying it clinically. I can explain polyvagal theory. I can read survival responses in real time. I know what dysregulation looks like in a client, in a room, in a body. And I was completely and thoroughly wrong about my own. Not wrong about the science, not wrong about what happened in my past. I had done the work. 7 years of Al-Anon, therapy, bibliotherapy. I could narrate every single pattern that shaped me. And my body had not received one single update. I was still bracing, still in pain, still compensating hormonally, still waiting for things to calm down so my body could finally relax. And here is what I want to show you today. Waiting for calm is not a strategy. It is actually a trap. And I do not think I am the only one who fell for it. Just some quick context because this matters for what I'm about to explain and the mistakes I made. I am a licensed mental health professional, a trauma-informed strength coach, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. I own a women's strength training gym. I've worked with so many people over the years. I am not telling you this to list my credentials. I am telling you this because the mistake I made and the one I'm describing is not a beginner mistake. It is an educated and experienced mistake. And if it's happening to me, it is most likely happening to you. Here is what this looks like. You have done all the stuff you know you need to do. You've done the therapy, you've done all the reading, you went for self-help, you went to support groups, maybe you even went to EMDR. You can list your attachment style, you know your patterns, you know your choices, you know your relationships and why you're in them. You are not in denial, but yet your heart still sinks when someone's tone shifts. You revert back to childhood patterns when you go home, even though you're an adult. Your shoulders live up near your ears and your neck stays braced. Your gut clenches before you enter certain rooms. You still reach for processed carbs after a long day, even though you told yourself you wouldn't. You can explain all of it. You can narrate it in real time, and yet you still cannot stop. That is not a comprehension problem. Okay, that is a nervous system problem. And understanding alone, it doesn't fix it. I've tried it, I know. And I am going to show you exactly what that looked like for me, including what finally changed it. The problem wasn't what was happening around me, okay? I needed to learn to do difficult seasons differently, difficult seasons in life, and not wait for a different life to come, not wait for a life with no hardship. Okay, my nervous system was not responding to the present day. It was running an old program, a program written in a house I no longer live in anymore. My body was sending signals that I just didn't know how to listen to them. For example, 3 sinus surgeries, heart palpitations, constant chronic heart palpitations, being told everything was in my head. Not because I was broken, but because my body was communicating in the only language it had left. It was sending fire alarm signals. The nervous system does not learn from understanding, it learns from actual experience. And understanding happens in the thinking brain, but survival lives much lower. You cannot think your way into the brainstem. You have to actually move into it. And here is the part that surprised me the most. I had to learn to listen to my body at a level I had never paid attention to before. Not the obvious signals like my heart beating out of my chest, but the subtle ones, like my jaw clenching, or my eyes twitching, or the urge to rush to get somewhere that I didn't even have a timeline to get to, or the constant dopamine signals by like scrolling on my phone. Eventually, my body became the roadmap. And when I felt flooded emotionally, or when I felt dysregulated, I learned to halt. When I was hungry, angry, anxious, lonely, tired, I needed to sit with myself, to tolerate feelings without trying to stop them. Because trying to stop the feeling actually made it worse. The resistance was more of the problem, not the feeling itself. So I would say something like, there it is, over there. that anxious, dysregulated, buzzy feeling, there it is. And I would put that feeling outside of me. So something I could observe instead of having it be inside of me and me becoming that feeling. Strength training became something I never expected it to become. It was not exercise or fat loss or body recomp or any of that. It was a new experience for a nervous system that had only known urgency. Every time I braced for a heavier deadlift, for example, my feet on the floor, my breath into my back and engaging my lats, getting ready to move heavier weight and a heavier set, and then realize at the end of that set that I was okay. Those became very important nervous system updates for my body. Here is one thing I want you to try. And this comes from Postural Restoration Institute. This is not a meditation. It's not deep breathing, okay? This is a mechanical reset for your nervous system. So watch what I'm doing on the screen. Block your right nostril, okay? Inhale through your left. You're gonna inhale for 4. And then pause, hold the breath for 4. Switch your nostril, okay? Exhale through your right, okay? Pause, pause for 4. Then inhale through your right, pause, okay? And then exhale through your left. That's one cycle, okay? This is something you want to do for about maybe 3 or 4 cycles. This is not a breathing exercise. This is your nervous system learning that it is allowed to return to center. So if you have done the understanding work, the logic work, and your body still has not caught up to this fact, you are not failing at healing. You simply have not given your nervous system what insight cannot give it. A new experience of being in your body is what your nervous system needs. The mind figured everything out in the past, for the past what happened, but the body is still living it. And understanding what happened to you is not the same as healing from it. The body has its own curriculum, and it's time to start.